What's up, guys? Running it back with another replay for y'all. And it's going to be Beastmen versus High Elves on the, what is it, Geyser Bluffs or something like that? I can't remember the name of the map. Don't penalize me too hard. But it's fun. It's a very small map, which is a little surprising, honestly. I thought it was much bigger from the portrait it had in the select screen, but here we are. And it's going to be fast and furious on this one. Fire Mage here for the High Elf caster, some Rangers, Spearmen, Lother, and Seaguard, a unit of Archers. Here in the woods, Tyrion and the Pure Main Company. Just eyeing it up, seeing what I do and don't have, and waiting to decide if they're going to jump out here. I'm able to secure my home objective pretty quickly, and also getting on this number 2 as well to stop my opponent from capping it for free with his Fire Mage. Having Vanguard is quite nice. So, pushing back the Illyrian Reaver Archers, who are just firing a few bow shots here at my advancing Ungor herds. And yeah, it's just shaping up to be a bit messy. And we're going to see who can scramble fast enough to take advantage of it. So yeah, 4 Ungor Raiders, really nice to have against Elves. They do like to bring low armor infantry, and you know, they also have their own missiles, which are usually much more expensive, and you can trade much more favorably into if you can get good bow shots. My caster out on the field for my first summon, and butchers a Calcan Guard with some Gore herds, with shields being the real meat and potatoes of the army. So Morghur going to kick this battle off for real now. Jumping in here on top of the Spearmen, with some Ungor Raider fire coming in here and doing quite a lot of work, as you can see there. Sunfang being cast in here in the back, missing the Ungor Raiders a bit, dodging pretty well there, but not quite able to get away from this Burning Head, which is really doing a lot of damage to those poor little guys. Just little tumnuses running for their lives after being scorched and seeing some of their brethren fall in battle. Able to break this Spearman unit proper quick here with the bow fire, and Morghur and the Ungors are just going to go straight for trying to get on these Archers here. They are very capable in melee, certainly not going to be beaten by the Gore herds, but bunching them all up here is going to be very nice. Off to the side here, Butchers of Calcan Guard going to pull out of combat with Tyrion. He's taken some pretty serious damage, but that was coming in from an overcasted Traderkin, which hit these Rangers, who are shattered here, as well as Tyrion and the Firecaster. So a really nice initial cast from me. And now some Ungor Raider fire coming in on these Lotherns, who are really suffering right now, but another really nice Burning Head coming in here, absolutely hammering these bow units here. Breaking one here, the other pretty low leadership gonna pull out now, and a really nice rear charge about to come in from these Illyrian Reavers. Just miss getting them with the Traderkin, but am able to hit most of the ranged units here, so doing a little bit of good poke there, as well as getting on the Fire Mage here. It's taking a lot of damage, honestly, from that. With some nice bow fire, gonna maybe be able to deal with that guy. And it's looking a little ugly out here on the flank. Getting pushed away from my opponent's home objective pretty hard now. I didn't really have anything to deal with the Pure Main Company outside of the Butchers, and in the interim, the Phoenix Guard have come out on the field. Very elite, very expensive High Elf Infantry unit, absolutely massacring the Destroyers of Drakewald there, with a little bit of bow fire support. And Tyrion jumping in on the Ungor Raiders, keeping his infantry in the front line pretty safe and breaking these guys. So losing my fire support for a bit is really ugly, because I don't really have anything to deal with the Phoenix Guard except to call in some Senegors and throwing axes, who are very good in this matchup. Nice to have in the back pocket. Don't rely on them too much, just because they can get outshot by all the elf bows. But good to have in the back pocket and bring out on the field when you see something like the Pure Main Company or the Phoenix Guard. Gonna be trying to get some good shots in with these guys now. The Ungor herd and Gore herd, though, tied up in a pretty ugly position there. The Butchers, they're really strong and can fight single entities, but Tyrion's not the guy that you want to be trying to fight with them. He's just going to kill models, mitigate the effectiveness of the regeneration there, while he also does have the Heir of Aenerion and will just get a massive burst heal when it's time for him to. Running back with the Senegors, they are getting counter-fired by the Illyrian Reaver Archers and the Storm Riders there, so trying to keep them nice and preserved while some Baconators come in, man. They absolutely hammer these Illyrian Reavers as well as the Rangers, getting really great value. I mean, they just got into combat and they're already up to about 400 damage value. They are rampaging, so they probably won't be very useful after this, but nice to have them doing what they're doing now, regardless. I have managed to shatter my opponent's Fire Mage. He is running for his life now. The Bray Shaman got in there, got some pretty good attacks, and the Chaos Spawn, they've also done some decent work there, getting a little bit of extra value for Morghur, who's just happily slapping away with his giant claw here, doing some nice work, and making sure that the elf position here has been fully broken. And Butchers, they get a nice charge in there, but I don't want to stay in combat too long against this Phoenix Guard. They helped break the Puremain Company, who are running here, and are just going to pull back with them now. They've gotten some decent value. They haven't been able to sit and stay in combat for too long, which is a little unfortunate, but could be worse. Not too upset about it. Senegors, they did rally back here. They broke this Illyrian Reaver unit that was trying to chase down the Throwing Axe Senegors here, but with some good micro pulling these guys back in and getting on top of them, I have been able to save those guys and tie up another Illyrian Reaver unit. And President Gorbel is out on the field now. Very nice anti-large unit. Good against cavalry and can fight Tyrion pretty well. You know, Tyrion does have 72 melee defense, but the anti-large bonus on this guy is 30, which is pretty insane. So certainly able to hit decently effectively against him, and just getting one or two attacks in there with his big weapon strength is going to make a big difference, and can certainly help the Butchers and Kalkengard by buffing up their melee attack as well with the Slaughter's Call, which is a really nice ability. You know, I like to cut most of the other stuff on this guy and just bring that one ability, because he's pretty cheap at that point, 1,200 gold, 1,250 maybe, and he can do really good work for his price point. So it's a bit of a reconsolidation game now. I've very much managed to hold this number 2 objective, which is very nice for me. I'm taking a very big ticket lead now, but my opponent playing really scrappily. He's not down by too much. Losing his caster is very painful, but he does have Tyrion here, who's going to be able to keep providing that good incremental value over time using Sunfang and getting in on my characters potentially, because Morghur is a little alone over here. Just some tattered remains of some units and not too much protecting him, and Tyrion is certainly looking to eye him up right now. My opponent going in for a dive with these Illyrian Reaver Archers, gonna lance right into the side of these Ungor Raiders, who are a little bit lax with my micro on them, but rallying my Senegors with throwing axes now to respond, as well as the Butchers and President Gorbel. Gonna try and help out Morghur now, who is pretty isolated against Tyrion. Luckily, the Ungor Spears are holding here, but that's going to change right about now. A fat Sunfang getting called in here, absolutely annihilating this unit. You can see how much damage it does. I mean, about a third of their health gone, and immediately Rout comes in there, but luckily they held just long enough for Gorbel here to show up. Butchers of Kalkengard buffering out the Rangers now, and gonna get a good collapse in here with a fat upgraded Traderkin coming in as well. Absolutely slapping Tyrion and these Rahagar's Pride, which are a very expensive unit. You know, very good at clearing out infantry, but maybe not the best choice, just because Beastmen don't have a ton of armor here for armored units. And these war kitties getting pressed back pretty hard now, breaking, shattering, and Tyrion getting terrified, but Heir of Aenerion does pop for him. Seemed to do double cast there, but that's whatever. Tyrion's, it's not a good idea to try and snipe him out regardless, and he just is right back in this fight. Very scary position for me, but I have gotten Morghur away, and he's sitting on top of the pestigores, just so that Tyrion can't dive on top of him for free, but Tyrion's going to content himself with trying to deal with my poor Bray Shaman out here. He was blocking him up. I'm trying to keep him locked in for the Synagors to get some good axe throws in here, but for whatever reason they're obstructed. I'm not sure why they're not throwing. It's not like he's super out of the way. Another Traderkin coming in here. Don't have too many more casts of that, and Tyrion finally swinging in on this guy, doing a lot of damage to him. But 2,500 on this guy, really not too shabby. Pretty ideal, honestly. It's putting me in a nice position to really pressure my opponent's home objective again. I don't have a ton of stuff here, but what I do have is very powerful units. Synagors of Tzeentch out on the field here. They've dealt with a few of the Storm Riders, with a little bit of help from Ungor herds who have been rallying back and trickling in. They are pretty much dead and gone for real this time, though, which is unfortunate. I do have one Ungor Raider left back here who's up to about 800 value, just firing in on these Phoenix Guard. Really good burning head, absolutely smacking up my Synagors. I was a little surprised at that. I didn't know burning head was so good against cavalry. Probably gonna have to, you know, give it another look at. Just doing a lot of really big damage to a very expensive cavalry piece. My opponent has really managed to grind back a lot of value. I am still holding the double cap here, so he does not have a lot of time at this point. It is triple cap territory, I believe. I'm not great at doing the math in my head. Still figuring it out. But, collapsing in on this isolated Lothern Sea Guard with just the remains of these Pestigors, the Butchers of Kalkengard, and the Gorbel here. They're going to be able to certainly work through these Rangers. We'll see about dealing with those Lotherns, but my other Pestigor getting pretty decent value and dealing with the Archers here who are trying to push through. Some bacon coming in, so another summon of these Razor Gores did pretty good the first time around. Trying to catch Tyrion, but he does dodge a bit. He gets his last heal on Heir of Aenerion, his healing cap now, but my opponent's been really on point with him. 1,700 value on him. Not too shabby. Certainly doing a very good job of harassing my units and dealing with them. The Butchers at Kalkengard back here, very low, but also pretty much healing capped at this point. 1,700 value on them is really, really nice, and these guys have been absolutely huge for me. 58 melee attack, Blood Greed, pretty much fully charged, and now they're jumping in on top of Tyrion, and he's in a very bad position. He is very outnumbered against some very tough opponents. Certainly going to be able to return the favor, but being healing capped, he's not going to get any extra heals, and it's going to be curtains for him if he sticks around too long here. Elsewhere on the battlefield, I'm just using Synagors to hammer down these very expensive units. This unit did a good job of getting a nice charge in on the Phoenix Guard, did a little extra damage, while these Synagors are just getting in on the Rangers now. Spearmen getting shot by the Ungor Raiders here, getting absolutely tossed by these Synagors who have come back in, doing huge damage on the charge, and really just absolutely massacring this routing unit. Such a nice change in the most recent patch. You really love to be able to actually chase down units that are fleeing. That has pretty historically been when most casualties occurred in battle. Tyrion has fallen. It's a sad day. But the Butchers of Kalkengard have pretty much given their lives in exchange. 5 models left, 200 health. And, yeah, they're dropping like flies, but 2,500 value on them. They did a great job over the course of this battle, killing infantry and helping finish Tyrion off there at the end with Morghur and the Gorbel standing in there, and they're fighting off some War Lions, keeping them from assisting the Illyrian Reavers on point, and that's going to be it for me. GG's to my opponent. He played a really solid game, and I think was maybe just a couple plays away from really pushing me off. I think losing the mage in the mid-game there was very unfortunate for him. This guy had been doing really good work, killing my Ungor raiders and pushing them back over and over again, but he did get hit by a couple of traderkins and caught by my Bray Shaman, man, who on that chariot, he's pretty vicious on the charge. He can do a lot of good work against single entities. Just don't leave him in combat for too long. But yeah, I would say he was really my MVP, was that Bray Shaman as well as the Butchers. Two really, really valuable units for Beastmen coming through in a big way for me. Nothing too crazy on the rest of my army. These Ungor Raiders did well for themselves, doubling their value, which is nice, but, you know, that's still not insane. And, yeah, just the rest of the chaff and units just paying for themselves, doing the solid work that is necessary. Some good work done by these Razor Gores as well. I'm going to call it here, guys. Appreciate y'all watching. Hope y'all have a good one. GG's. Peace.